Welcome to this demo on using the text highlighter question in SightX. To get started, click on a project, go to Add Item, and under the Question section, click on Text Highlighter. Once you click on that, your question will appear in your project. For the purposes of this demo, I've already created a question. So I'm going to click on it, and you'll see there's an H here, which indicates it's a text highlighter question. Let me open it up, and I'll start with the title for the question. And it asks to please rate the text in the passage below using the colored categories. Now, you will have the option of putting anything you'd like in for the title. And in general, we would recommend putting instructions on what to do for your test. Now, going below, you can customize the number of categories. You can have as few as 2, which you can do just by toggling here, or you can add as many as 7. And you'll see as I change the numbers that the scale changes. And you have the choice of a lot of preset scales, which will just populate for you. So for example, you could do good or bad, or disagree and agree, or true and false. And you can also reverse the order of the scale. So to do that, just click here. And if you're not happy with one of these options, you can always edit them. So I could say well below average instead of far below average if I wanted that. So you have the option of editing any of these questions that you'd like. You can also change the color. So I have 2 purple colors, for example. Maybe I want something different. So I could choose pink. And maybe I want something different than a green. So I could choose yellow. And then when you put your text in, you're going to put it in the box below the categories. So this is the text here. And something important to call out is there are some special characters like emojis that our platform can't process with the text highlighter. So if that happens, you'll get an alert in this tab here called Inspect Project, and that will actually tell you what the problem with your test is. So if you put emojis in, it will tell you to remove the emojis. Once you do that, you'll be able to activate this preview button here. It will turn purple, and you'll be able to preview your test and continue the test. Now, the last thing about the test, and this is extremely important, is we by default exclude stop words. And stop words are words that are commonly used, like the and, that don't convey much meaning within text. So it's very important that we've excluded these words because most customers are not going to want to see these in their data. If you do want to include these for any reason, just click this toggle here, and you'll see that it's gray, not green. If you want to exclude them again, click here and it will be green. But remember, by default, we're always excluding these words, and this toggle will be green. Now you can see that my preview button activated, so I can click it. And on desktop, what I will do is I'll select a category and then click or drag over the text to highlight it. So maybe I want moderately above average. And I can click on some text and you'll see that it highlighted here. And let me choose far below, above average. And here you can see that my text highlighted. The nice thing is if someone tries to choose a partial word, it won't highlight. Now for mobile, it works slightly differently, but we have different instructions, and this is done for the UI. So what you'll do is you'll select the text first and then select the category. And again, you'll always have these instructions here by default. So let me go ahead and choose moderately above average. So it works the same way. I just click here and then click on the category. And then I click here, say users and stakeholders, and then I click on the category. So as you can see, this also works. It's very similar. In the next section, I'm going to move on to show you what the data looks like. In this next section, I'll show you what to do once your text highlighter results have come back. You go to your project, make sure you're in a section called Analyze, go to the option Question Analysis, and here you'll see H for your text highlighter question. You'll have 3 different options, and I'll walk you through each one. Your first piece of analysis is going to show you what percentage of the text was rated far above average, moderately below average, or far above average. And remember that these categories are custom, so your categories might look different, but these are mine. And so you can see by looking at this that the vast majority of this passage was rated far above average by customers. And I can see that this is the category here, far above average. I know it by its color. If I want to see the other categories, I just click on them. So for example, there were 18 words that were considered moderately above average, representing about 8% of the votes. And I can scroll up here and see what they were. Now, I got pretty lucky with these results. Nobody ranked anything moderately below average or far below average, but if they did, you would just do the same thing. You would just click here and here, and the text would update and it would show you the same text, but with different highlights. So again, each highlight corresponds with each category. Click on this icon here to get to your word clouds. And there are going to be word clouds that correspond with each category, and these just show you what words were most popular. And what's nice about this is you can hover over them and you can see how many votes each word got. So consider is a word that got 2 votes. And then if you look here for accessible, it got 1. So your words that get more are going to be front and center. They're going to be a little bit larger in size, and things that got fewer votes are going to be a bit more in the background and have a smaller font. So same thing with moderately above average. I can see that there are lots of words here. And I can also hover over them to see how many times people voted. And then I can scroll through my text and see the specific words that were highlighted for each category. Then if I go to the final section, this gives me a breakdown of the actual words that were highlighted. So if you want to know and see in an easy format how many people chose always, for example, and rated it far above average, you can go here. You can hover over always and you'll see it got 2 votes. Now, we saw in the word cloud that a lot of words had gotten 2 or 1 votes. So this is the same data, but it's presented in a format that might be a little bit easier for you to read. So depending on what you'd like, whether it's more of a high-level overview or if you want to go word by word, these 2 different charts can be really helpful in different ways. But this just provides a very nice list of looking at things from top to bottom. Things will always be displayed from the most popular to the least popular. And so you can see there were a lot of words that were rated here. If I go down, the other nice thing that we do is they're alphabetized. So anything that got, say, 2 votes is alphabetized. So it's going to start with, in this case, an A and go down from there, and with a U. And then once we get to the next voting category, and this was 1, we do that again. We alphabetize. So it should be easy for you to find the words. To see the different categories, just click on your different categories in the legend, and everything will update. And so again, if I want to see this at a holistic level, I can go up here and I can see my actual text and see what got highlighted. And then if I want to see a breakdown of the words, I just go to this chart. And again, I can hover and see how many times it got voted. And so here, everybody just voted for a word once. So again, this entire chart's in alphabetical order, but you can go through and you can just take a look at this on a closer level. Now, nobody voted for moderately below average or far below average, so I don't have any words for these categories, but if they did, you would see the same thing as the other 2 categories. I hope this walkthrough was helpful, and please don't hesitate to reach out to the team if you have more questions about using the text highlighter. Thank you very much.